What's up, guys? Got my G35 in the lab. Gotta do the alternator on this car. It's down at the bottom. See it down there. I'll be doing that repair tomorrow. I'll put it on video for the people who had these cars or something similar like a Maxima. I think they're all down there. On these, you definitely gotta take the radiator shroud out to get the top alternator bolt out. Some people bring the alternator out through the top, some people take it through the bottom. If you're gonna do it through the bottom, you gotta remove the strut bar. Also for the new year, I kind of cleaned up my toolbox a good bit, rearranged it, add a little bit of stuff to it. So can kill the lights. This I got from Harbor Freight. I don't really know what it is. I thought it was like a wrench organizer, but I think somebody says a screwdriver holder. I use it to keep my drawer open because these drawers on this box, I think it's a KRS box. And if I don't have that here, see, box is closed. So to keep the drawer open, what I do is I take this magnetic and I put it right there, and it holds right there on the slide, and it keeps the box open so we can look at the sockets and whatnot. So I'll do more detail on this one. As you can see, top drawer is pretty long drawer, not full length of the toolbox, which is 72 inches, I believe. I think it's 72. I can't remember if they call it a 74 and it's really a 72 or they call it a 72, but I think it's a 72 inch box. But if anybody wants to know for sure, my sticker's kind of disappearing there. It used to be a sticker right there that had the model number on it, but I actually use the box and brake clean and wiping down the top, so it's gone. But anyway, socket drawer. Got these are Icon swivel. These are pinned, 1/2 inch drive. You can see the little spring or whatever in there. Hadn't had a problem with them. I also hadn't used them a whole lot. I've used them, but I could probably tell you by the way they look which ones I've used. 21 millimeter, 17 millimeter. Couple of the other ones, the ones that look kind of not all shiny black. So everything except the 16 to 18, the 22 through 24 I've used. But like I said, they work great. Never really have had those, so didn't want to buy a tool truck brand without knowing if I really like them, if they really work for me. So they're cool. I have on this other box back here, I have the 3/8 version, and these are those ones are Icon. These are like Pittsburgh, and I like those. I mean, they work just fine. Of course, I'm putting them on an impact wrench, and I cleaned out this box as well because I wanted to keep. I like to keep the top of my roll cart empty so that when I'm working, I can only have the stuff in there that I'm actually working with. So I have some tools in here, but I mainly will be taking tools from this box, getting the sizes that I need, putting them in the top of that box, holding my parts and things like that. So that's kind of how I work with that. I'll just pull out the roll cart when I'm working on the car. So when I get ready to get working on that tomorrow, I'll I look in the book, I read the manual and everything. I like to go over the procedure. I like to watch a YouTube video. I like to see all the tools that I need, get them, have them in the cart already, and then after I have the cart load out, I keep some of these trays for parts and whatnot, along with the magnetic trays. and then I go to work. So back to the sockets. These, I got this Craftsman rail, which is a great rail. It's one of those twist lock ones, which I like that. You can kind of tell the ones I've used because they're not shiny and like those. So all the rest of them I've used. Take one off, and they are Icon. So these are Allen sockets. I use these on various working with the set screws and stuff on like a fifth wheel capture plate when you have like a pivoting pin box, like a sidewinder, and or a Anderson little gooseneck adapters, stuff like that when you're using to put on the fifth wheels. That's mainly what I use them for. Pope ride, hitches. I think some of those has some Allen keys. So these are 1/2 inch drive. I use them on my impact, and they've been good. They hold up. I hadn't twisted or broken any of them. Then I have various my loaner tools slash beater sockets. These are actually really good sockets, guys. They're Pittsburgh. I have exclusively used them on impacts and for years, and they hold up. I have not cracked or busted one, and I've been putting them on my high torque DeWalt. They've held up really good. So I have nothing bad to say about these sockets. I know everybody rags on Harbor Freight, but they do have some good stuff. And as I mentioned in a previous vehicle, I like to keep some stuff that I don't care about. If I have to sacrifice on the lug nut or beat it onto something that I know it's not coming off, or just give it as a loaner tool, which is what I keep in here. Somebody comes here and work on their car, I'm gonna let them work out of this box, which kind of has my junky tools in them, you know. Nothing super high end, nothing I'm worried about losing. You know, nice little impact set. This one's made by Casio, man. So if they lose a socket or don't return something or break something, you know, this is the cart that they'll be working out of. So I want to make sure they got, see, I got my Pittsburgh wrenches in here, all my snap-ons in those drawers. Stuff that they can use to work on their vehicles without messing with my good tools. So that's what I keep in this box. That box, I keep all my blow molded cases and kits. So all my pullers and anything that has to be in a blow molded case that I need to keep in a blow molded case. I ain't gonna go through the whole thing, but you know, this box, every drawer is full of blow molded cases, especially tools, stuff like that. These sockets, unlike the Pittsburgh ones, these Icon chrome deep sockets, these not good. They and I know you're not supposed to put them on impact, and I didn't. I walled these out using torque wrench, and they're soft. If you put them on an impact, they're gonna deform immediately. So I had to assemble something on a camper, and it required a lot of different torque specs. And I got these brand new, tried them out, and just from using it with a hand tool, the anvil deforms this part right here where the anvil of your tool goes in. They're super soft. Now on this end, on the business end where the nut goes, I didn't have a problem with that end, but it's just on this end. So it reminds me of the snap-on. It reminds me of snap-on impact sockets. And I've lost some of these, I'm embarrassed to say. I'm still looking for my 1.5 inch that I used to put 2-inch balls on hitches. But okay, so this is a brand new one. You can know if somebody has a brand new snap-on socket that's never been used, because that's how it looks in the end, a square with like a circle kind of cut out as well. Never been used. Didn't have to use it on nothing. As soon as you go to using those, they deform. They look just like the icons, or worse, actually worse. So, of course, the one that I use the most is the one I lost. But I got other sockets made by other people, and you know, you see a little bit of deformation right there. What is this? Who makes this? Performance Tool? They don't deform like that, and for me, that's a problem. When I can get cheaper brands, this is a Autocraft. It doesn't do that, and then I got a bunch of impact sockets that are just, who knows what that is, and then they don't deform. I use those exclusively on impact, and they're all half-inch drives, so I'm using mid-torque to high-torque impacts every time, so I don't get it. Now, if I was super rich, I still wouldn't buy snap-on impact sockets, because I bought them. Like I said, they deform. I've been warrantying them out for years. I don't buy them no more. I buy other stuff. Doesn't matter what the brand is, because now these ones right here, these are Pittsburgh, and they wear out. They wear out to the point that it will not hold onto the anvil. Don't recommend them. I've had them for years. I've used them, and every time I use them, the 3/4 probably get one of the ones that get used the most. It won't even stay on the end of the impact gun. So they wear out too easy, so I wouldn't recommend that. At least the snap-on ones, after they deform, they don't fall off the end of the anvil. You know, they just look really bad, but they still hold on, you know, to the anvil. I will give them that. I gotta be fair. So these are mostly all of my half-inch stuff right here. Then I got like little specialty sockets, like I got this Koken double swivel, so it swivels 2 ways. This is a nice tool, guys. Gives you a nice degree. And then this is a Williams USA spinner. It goes on the end of the ratchet. Sometimes I use it by itself to get something started. It has the knurling on it. I also have in 1/4 inch. This is also a Williams USA. And then, you know, universal joint, spark plug sockets, E-Torques, things like that. My snap-on sockets, I only have 4 full sets of snap-on sockets, and they're all chrome. So from here on out, I only buy chrome snap-on sockets because of what I previously mentioned about the deformation on the anvil side of their impact sockets. Besides that, they rust really bad and really easy. So these 2 sets, these are the mid-lengths snap-on FDX sockets. All right, so these are my FDXs, real tight fit. You know, they're designed for damaged fasteners. Let's see if we can get similar size. So that's no, that's 13, 16. That goes here. But anyway, these are the mids, metric, SAE. On snap-on sockets, the metrics are going to have the little knurling on it, and the SAEs will not. You can see the profile on the inside. These sockets hold up really well. The chrome sockets do better on the impact than their impact sockets. They don't deform on the ends. I've never had a problem. Let me put that one back. I use 19 3/4 a lot. So you can see a little bit of deformation, nothing to really talk about at all. The sockets hold up good. I use them on impacts. They're mine. I do what I want to do with them. This is the set that I recently got from my Snap-on guy. These are the deeps. These are just flank drive sockets. These are not the FDX sockets, right? Something about the way they design the inside, or maybe it's just a tolerance, because I really can't, by looking at it, tell which one is the flank drive and which one is the FDX. Maybe you can if you're more of a tool aficionado than I am, but I can't really tell the difference. These two, FDX, this set, just flank drive, and then I got this set, which is the super shallows. So it only goes to 18. It didn't give you a 19, probably because you crack it because it's so shallow, and it's in a 12 point. So these are the super shallows. Then I have the mid lengths and the deep. So those are the three sizes. With that range, I don't see a reason to get the normal shallows, other than the point. I can get 6 point instead of 12 point if I went with the standard size shallow socket from Snap-on versus the super shallows. Okay, that's the only advantage I can see. But as you can see from looking at those sizes, that's pretty much covering the gamut of what I'll be using. These impact sockets, I picked this one up because it looks really bad, and it is a Pittsburgh. Almost seems like water got in there. These sockets are painted. The paint's the only thing that's keeping them from rusting out, so inside the anvil, they're all rusted. Chrome moly, 21 millimeter. You know, it's the cheaper stuff, and I'm cool with that. Just the impact socket. These, like I said, these are the only Snap-on sets. I only have 4 sets of Snap-on sockets. All the rest of my sockets is different stuff. These are, oh, this is a specialty socket. That's a sensor. That's a socket for, what sensor is that? I use, that's a socket to take off a sensor. I can't remember which one. These are Icon. Like I said, these guys are soft on the anvil end. You really don't, I mean, do what you want with your own tools, but they deform really easy on the impact. So I found that out with the SAE set. This is just a metric set to match that SAE set over there. And then miscellaneous stuff, like some of my old stuff, cleaning out my old toolboxes, GM performance parts. I found a bunch of these sockets. That's what all of those, what's that, 22. That's what all the short sockets are. Those are GM. This is a Duralast 1316 spark plug socket, magnetic. These are the first sockets I had when I started really working on cars. These are Power Torque. I've had these for over 10 years. They've held up really good. I don't know if the quality is still the same. It probably is. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't never made in the USA anyway, but look at the 10 millimeter. They have held up really good. This has been a good set of sockets, these Power Torques. Got them from O'Reilly's Auto Parts. So there's the shallow 10. These sockets I've not put on impact, simply because when I first started working on cars, like in the early 2000s, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, I didn't know about using power tools. I didn't have shop air, and that's what everybody had back then. It was shop air. If you didn't have a shop, you didn't have shop air. So the power tools were air tools. It wasn't all this battery operated impacts like we got now. And I kind of missed the boat on that. I've only been using like power tools to work on cars within the last 5 years. All before that, I was just totally ignorant of it. And then when I started professionally working as an RV technician, I started learning that, hey, power tools make the job go by a lot easier. Plus, with RVs, you work with a lot of power tools. But yeah, these are my power torques. They've been great. Nothing bad to say about them. This is over 10 years of use. And, you know, within the last 3 or 4 years, I have used them on impacts, but all before I didn't. So most of them hadn't been on impacts. This is a TEQ 1 and 1/16. I needed this on the truck the other day, and I bought another one because I was on a job replacing a water heater. And you need that socket, I believe, for the anode rod, the 1 and 1/16. And then you need the 7/8 for the brass fittings on the back for the hot and cold water inlet. And here it is, I had one. This was such a good set. That power torque set, if I had that in my car, I might buy another one because it is so much better than the DeWalt set that I had in my truck. I've had that for a while too, but I didn't really use it a lot. It doesn't cover as many sizes as this power torque set did. That was a good set of sockets, real complete set. But yeah, I had to buy another one of these, which this is 3/8 drive. I bought a 1/2 inch drive 7/8 to get those brass fittings off. Only thing I'm missing out of here is the 15/16. Everything else is, I still have them. I mean, the set stops at that. So I'm missing like 3 sockets. I mean, that's pretty good over 10 years for a whole set, and I'm only missing 3 sockets. These Milwaukee. These are my Milwaukee sockets. There's a 7/8. I could have used that, but really I needed a 1/2 inch drive because I had to take those off with an impact. They were glued in. I don't know why they glued those fittings in. All it needs is Teflon tape, but they glued them in. I keep these around for situations like when you're working on like some of the Nissans with the engine in there sideways and all the belts are over on the passenger side and you got to get to the tensioner like on the Altima. Nothing really fits in there. The belt tool doesn't hardly fit in there. But if you take tire off and go under there, if you put one of these sockets on there, the shallow ones, I think it's like a 9/16, and then you can put a wrench onto the flats of that, and it'll get you past all the gears, because if you just put the wrench on it, it binds between all the other pulleys, and that was a problem I was having. I mean, I got it, I had to fight with it, but if I had my Milwaukee set at the time, which I think I had it in my Mac toolbox on site for that big project that I'm working on, I would have been golden. So since then, I brought it back home just because I don't really use it out there. So I brought it back home. What is this? This is kind of out of place. This needs to be over there. It's a 13/16 extra Pittsburgh socket. Okay. These are also Milwaukee's. These are the metrics. Standard metric Milwaukee's with the flat sides. Kind of gimmicky at first. I will not use these sockets on a regular basis because of that. I think they made the sockets overall a little thicker so that they can accommodate that square. Let's see. Well, actually, looks like they just ground it down. That's power torque 17 millimeter. That's Milwaukee. But I don't use those sockets unless I need to use the flats. So I really just don't use those sockets. They just feel weird. I'm used to a round socket, but they have a special place if you need the flats, which can come in handy sometimes. And now that I see that they are kind of narrow, that might be advantageous, and I might have to try to use them a little more. Over here, I got real big sockets. These are Duralast 30, 32, 30, 29, and I had a couple other ones, maybe like 27, 25 that are somewhere else. These are Sunex spark plug sockets with the rubber inserts. I've had these for over 10 years. These are Duralast. I used to use these for, you can see it's twisted a little bit, motor mounts on different cars. And you gotta take the motor mount bolt out. It's like a T50 or T40 or something like that. So that's what I used to use. That's why I bought that set. Let's see who's texting. Brother Hancock. And on the 1/4-inch stuff, I have way in the back super shallows. I got the super shallow set of 1/4-inch sockets, stubbies, whatever you want to call it. Let's see. I'm gonna pop one of them off so we can compare it to a regular size socket. So that's a 13 millimeter. And here on the Tecton, this is Tecton. That's the 13 millimeter. So you can see that that's about half the height of the Tecton. These, I believe, are, what are these? These 1/4-inch sockets are Icons right here. And the Tecton has like a deep broach, whereas the Icons have the shallow broaching like my Snap-ons and a lot of other sockets. I like that shallow broaching better, but sometimes I need it to be deep. That's 13. Who makes this? That's Tecton. So the gray tray is also Tecton, and then this last tray of SAE is Tecton, and all of the Tecton sockets, the broaching goes way down to here. Not a big fan of that because of the nuts. These sockets are extractor sockets. So if I pull out the 13, and they're made by Xeon, something I bought in an auto parts store, and it's even shorter. So yeah, I like these stubby sockets. 1/4-inch drive, of course, on the stubbies. 1/4-inch drive. I think I had those other sockets back there. Oh, let's take a look on the inside. So aggressive profile on the inside of the extractor sockets. These do work. When I worked in the automotive shop, started off as a lube tech, I use those a lot. Those actually work out really good. Those extractor sockets. 13 for the Tecton. And then just miscellaneous stuff. You know, my torque, security torques, different adapters over there on the side, drain plug gaskets, extra drain plugs, and that's the socket drawer. So it takes a long time, plus I wasted a lot of time talking about other stuff to go through these drawers. But that's the socket drawer, and I guess I'll do one drawer at a time. But